A popular goal for the new year is focusing on building financial stability, but for many, that is easier said than done. Here to help us talk about it and be about it is Jade Warshaw, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to speak with you today. I love what you contribute to the Ramsey Show podcast, all of the wealth advice, and especially because you yourself started from the bottom, being in so much debt, and you worked yourself up to that financial freedom. What was that journey like for you?
Oh, it was difficult. It was the course of 7.5 years that my husband and I paid off $460,000 of debt. So you can imagine the amount of sacrifice, the amount of endurance, and just really having to reckon with your personal behavior and your emotions around money.
So inspiring to hear how big that number was and that you guys were able to pay all of that off. Why would you say people should take control of their finances and not let their finances control them?
Well, Americans feel it every single day. Obviously, we're living in a cost of living crisis right now. You know, the last stat I saw was 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, which means every single day you're feeling it. You're going to work, you're working 40 hours a week, and at the end of the week, you're wondering, what do I have to show for it? It seems like the money goes out just as quickly as it came in, and that's very, very frustrating. And so that reason alone is a good reason to get control of your money. It would be wonderful to feel peace around your money rather than stress. And I can help you do that. I wrote the book, What No One Tells You About Money, in order to get a hold of your money for the first time, possibly ever, and actually make real and lasting change.
Yeah, and if someone wants a fresh financial start for the new year, where should they begin? I know this incredible book that you wrote is a good start. Be sure to purchase that. But where else should they make sure, step number one, this is what I need to focus on doing?
Yeah, so there's three areas of money. There's the mathematics and the numbers. Of course, there's the behavior and there's the emotions. So practically talking about the numbers, the first thing you need to do is know your numbers. How much money do you make? How much do you bring in? How much does it cost to make your lifestyle run, whether that be gas, groceries, rent or mortgage, those sorts of things. And finally, people need to understand how much margin they have. Do you have anything left over? Because that's what you're going to need to accomplish goals. And speaking of goals, number two is you really do need to be very clear on what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to save $1,000? Are you trying to save money for a down payment? Maybe your big goal is to pay off all of your student loan debt this year. Whatever that goal, you need to make it crystal clear, and you also need to have a crystal clear reason of why it's important to you. And then once you've got that established, now we can actually make our budget. Since we know our numbers, we know what our goals are, we make our budget, and then we can see how we're actually going to accomplish it with the margin that we have.
And you've described money as an emotional journey. Why is that?
It's emotional because money is tied to everything, right? It's tied to our relationships. It's tied to our career, obviously. It's tied to our past. It's tied to how we grew up. And so when you hear, a financial expert or someone like me come on the radio or come on a podcast telling you to do things like, lower your expenses or, get a side hustle, it's not as simple as that. We feel it on an internal level. We feel that struggle. We feel the wrestle with having to sacrifice, because the truth is most of us feel like we deserve to spend. And all that's gotten us into is a pile of debt and stress. And in 2026, I truly believe you deserve to have peace with your money for the first time ever. And that's going to take you embracing endurance. It's going to take you embracing some sacrifice with your money, and finally coming toe to toe with those emotions that have been holding you back all this time.
And lastly, how can people win with money in 2026?
Like I said, you're going to have to embrace endurance. That's just part of it. I mentioned earlier a 7.5 year journey that my husband and I had. And you're going to have your own journey. Maybe it's 18 months, maybe it's 5 months, but whatever it is, it's not going to happen in a microwave. It's likely going to happen in a crock pot. And endurance is tough because you're embracing something that's difficult, something that's uncomfortable for a short period of time. But just remember, it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain.
And if you love those tips, you'll definitely love the book. Jade, tell people, where can they get a copy and keep up with you?
Yeah, you can get a copy today at RamseySolutions.com, or you can head over to your favorite bookstore, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, pick it up wherever books are sold.
And I will say I've been loving it. I have so many sticky notes throughout mine here. So incredible book. And it makes you look forward to reading about building your finances instead of being afraid. So we appreciate that. Jade Warshaw, be sure to check her out on the Ramsey podcast as well. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.